Well, good evening to all you wisdom walkers out there. Want to be wisdom walkers, need to be wisdom walkers, have been wisdom walkers. This is Josefa Maria and Sarama. And already the impact of Mercury retrograde is showing up because I can't connect to my podcast tech. So interesting. So this is probably going to be the only way that those of you who usually listen to broadcasts can find me tonight. We'll be here on the live stream. And I also am in a house sitting situation, dog sitting. So you may hear a beautiful chocolate lab barking at some point because it's the time of night when the groundhog comes out and some other critters. Just what is, and we'll get through it. We'll do the best that we can. Anyway, I am so glad too that I've decided to have this be unscripted so that I can just go with the flow and trust the process. So, as always, I want to start off my program by honoring the ancestors. And of course, I start off with my two teachers, Sabonfu and Malidoma Somé from Burkina Faso, land of the proud ancestors. And I'm so grateful to them for sharing and bringing this beautiful ancient wisdom from their home into the Western culture. And particularly to me, it's really been life-saving for me. But I also want to share that I have a newest ancestor who is my dear Aunt Marion. She just passed away yesterday, and so I'm dedicating this multicast to her. She was just a rock in my life, in my growing, in my living, always so dependable, so loving, so validating. Just a really, really powerful, sweet human being. And she will be sorely, sorely missed. She was 88. And so I'm invoking her tonight along with my teachers and all the other ancestors. And so I invite you to do the same. Think of those people who were in your life and who really lifted you up. And let's call on them and thank them right now. Creator, Mother, Father, God, Source, all the one that is, may the ancestors hear our prayers. Ancestors, 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 we call out to you in the midst of the third quarter of 2024 and ask you to enable us to embrace change with clarity, creativity, and courage during this auspicious and landmark mineral year. Grant us access to our higher timeline where we know that what we are seeking is seeking us. Enable us to humbly embrace this new age and new earth consciousness, daring greatly to live out our new narratives that are divinely scripted for ourselves and for our world. And most importantly, continue to enable us to move forth from the dark ages of modernity by placing our heads below our hearts, valuing people over profits, and always choosing love over fear. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And of course I say amen, ashe ho asa, shinga bismilan, so it is, ashe. So once again, welcome, welcome, Wisdom Walkers. We've made it to August of 2024, the second and final nature month in this monumental mineral year. The radical external changes from 2020 through 2023 have shifted us into a higher and expanded level of human consciousness and increased our bandwidth for doing our inner work. Especially after the startling cosmic shifts in July, we are being called upon to embrace our new earth reality as self-masters, open to remembering and living our true purpose for being here at this auspicious time in human history. So tonight, I am initiating our next 5-month journey through those 5 collective commitments. And for 2024, I'm sorry, wait, I just got distracted. Let me stop because somebody is texting me and I want to, it's probably something about, we can't hear you. If you're talking on your show, we cannot hear you. Okay, let's see what's going on with that. Why am I not being heard? I don't know. Maybe it's the broadcast. So let me just ask them. Broadcast. Do you love this? Yeah. Broadcast or video. And let's see what they say. But in the meantime, let me get back to the statement I was making that I'm initiating another, this is our next 5-month journey through the 5 collective commitments of 2024. And starting with believe, which is the first one that I shared in January. The tagline to that is use your imagination to accept and hold on to your dreams of happy endings in life. So I want to thank you for joining me as I go unscripted to share additional wisdom and insights about believe. I'll be spilling on why there can be no more excuses for not going beyond your limiting beliefs and making your dreams come true. Yeah. So back to this text. This is about the broadcast. Go to the video. Yeah, it's not working. It's not working because podcasts not working tonight. Yeah. If somebody's trying to listen over the phone, it's not happening. So anyway, again, this is the kind of stuff that shows up, especially with Mercury going retrograde. It's a way for us to have to pause and to have to slow down and reconsider what is going on. So let me stop too. Again, I've got some comments. Oh, great, great, great. Just beautiful, beautiful Carmen giving me condolences. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. And she says, I can hear you. Thank you. So it is it's the podcast where it's not doing its thing. Okay, but at least the video working. So that makes me very, very happy. Okay. And they'll figure it out. People will figure it out or not. So anyway, just a reminder that usually when I'm broadcasting live, you can listen through that phone number, but it's not working tonight. I tried multiple times and I just got a busy signal. But if you do have questions or comments, of course, you can contact me first through my Facebook page, which is Wisdom Walk Radio, my Facebook community, which you're welcome to join, Wisdom Walk Community, my website, www.wisdomwalktoselfmastery.com, or, of course, in the comment sections below the YouTube video. But right now, as always, I ask and thank you for sitting back and joining me for an exploration of the inner landscape where we can connect to the truth of who we are and that treasure of why we are here as humans. Ashe, ashe. So there is just so much going on. There's just so much that is happening so fast. And so I am really, choosing to just go with the flow. And that's why I wanted to be unscripted, just so I'm not babbling or going off into too many different directions. I do have some slides that I'll share with you to kind of guide the conversation, the talk. But yeah, it's just a really, really crazy change up time right now. This is one of the first times this has ever happened to me that I can't connect to somebody on the phone. It's just like, yeah, it's just like never happened. I'm going to try it one more time. And we'll see if it comes in or not. Now it comes through. So let me hook up. So maybe now it will connect. Let me just say, just getting connected now. So we'll see if it happens. And I'll let my technician know. Okay, just called in. Yeah, these things happen. So we will see if she gets it and if the radio can do it. I'll hit it again. Let me go back in. So, yeah, this is the kind of time it is. Now, probably the dog is going to bark in a minute. I can feel it's coming. The dog barking is going to happen. And it's okay. Everything that happens is okay. And, I think I'm modeling for us the time that we're in where just the unexpected goes on. And instead of letting it pull us off center, our job is to just, as Carmen is saying, go with the flow, my sister. Exactly. Because it's like, you can't change anything. You can't shift it. So you just need to go with the flow. And guess what? It's okay. It's really okay. And I think we're being brought in through a time where God is saying to us, our God, your greater order and direction is saying, wow, are you really going to understand that I'm in charge or not? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you can see Jessie in the background there. Let me see, I'll put this off so you can see a better picture. Say hi, Jessie. You have an audience, darling. Yeah, she's very sweet until she starts barking, and then you'll see. But yeah, it's just a time that we're in. Yeah, Carmen says exactly, where we just can't, act like we really are in charge and we know. So when the unexpected shows up, don't get yourself all bent out of shape. It's okay. It's happening for a reason. Like what's going on, I know it's happening for a reason. I wanted to remind us that my theme for 2024, our theme for 2024 Wisdom Walkers, is from this beautiful, beautiful poem by Rumi, Jalali al-Din Muhammad Rumi. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. What you seek is seeking you. And my favorite picture for this, there we are, connected to our higher timeline, which is imperative at this time. We really need to be connected up. And trusting the process and trusting that if something goes off the rails, it's going off the rails for a reason. And rather than falling into judgment, shame, blame, guilt, embarrassment, no, just say, oh, okay, let me see what this is about. Let me learn what this is about. What is the universe trying to get me to pay attention to? And so you slow down and you breathe and see what happens, right? Absolutely. So here's two quotes that I pulled in regards to belief. I thought these were really, really nice. The first one is from the great Eleanor Roosevelt, one of the greatest first ladies ever. And she said, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. And that is really, really so important, to have our dreams, to know their beauty. And then Paul J. Meyer, who's considered the pioneer to the self-development field, the self-development enterprise, he says, whatever you vividly imagine, ardently desire, sincerely believe, and enthusiastically act upon must inevitably come to pass. Wow. Wow. Yeah, Carmen says, beautiful quote. Yeah, that is so powerful. I thought you all would appreciate that, because, this whole notion of believing, being able to believe, to trust beyond the shadow of a doubt, to be 100% committed. Yeah, it's just so important right now, because as things are changing, and what you may have been holding on to in the past, what you've been thinking about before, it may not be there anymore for you. And so it really is important that we open ourselves up to believing. And so this was one of the, like I said, the 5 collective commitments, the first one that I introduced in January. And I just want to share some more of the slides that I shared at that time. This one, of course, is in general about it. Use your imagination to accept and hold on to your dreams of happy endings in life. Practice believing in your happy endings by consciously taking time to imagine them. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So important. Yeah. Got another wisdom walker saying, greetings, Jojapa, and all in attendance. Yes, we're all here doing our thing, remembering how important it is to believe and use that imagination. Yeah. And recently I got a newsletter from the great Jean Houston, another pioneer in higher consciousness learning, New Thought. And it's so in alignment with this quote I found by Albert Einstein, where he says, imagination is more important than knowledge. And the story goes that she said when she was in school, there was still this belief that children could learn from their elders. And so her class was taken to visit Albert Einstein at his home in Princeton, New Jersey. He lived on the campus. And so the kids are there and they're meeting him. And of course, they've been told he's this genius. So one kid bravely puts up his hand and says, Mr. Einstein, what can we do to be a genius like you? And Einstein's response is, read fairy tales. And then another kid is like, well, what can we do to be even more genius than you? And Einstein said, read more fairy tales. Not the response that they thought, right, would be coming. You thought about, like, you got to study hard and this and that and blah, 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 blah. No, it's like, the treasure is in the imagination. And, that's what Einstein would do to get to his theory, like his theory of relativity. The story is that he would be envisioning himself, excuse me, riding on a rocket out into space, going faster than the speed of light. Yeah. And trying to learn, about light and what light is. But he uses imagination for that. And then he got downloaded the stuff he needed, right? Because that was his job, to bring this information to the world. Absolutely. So I can't stress enough the importance of imagination. I love fairy tales. I live and breathe fairy tales. I really do. They're just so important to me. One of the reasons I like K-drama or fantasy movies is because they're just being so creative in that, and they're bringing up things that you wouldn't normally get access to or see. And so I have a bunch of pictures here that I showed back in January. I want to share again that are just promoting and encouraging us around our imagination. Of course, for children, right? This is part of our childhood. Imagination is how we learn to believe in what we want to manifest into our life. The play that children do is about them thinking and believing and creating, what do I want to do? Where do I want to go? I want to go to the moon, or, wherever, it's that exciting time. And then I found these wonderful photos that are just so creative, giving us a visual about what could be going on inside these lovers' minds. Or here is what it feels like to them as they're embracing. There's lily pads and a swan, a little pirate ship, little rubber ducks, there's flowers. It even looks like I can see like a little statuette, a little shrine there. Of course, there's a fairy blowing fairy dust, here in the middle of a busy, metropolitan street. I just love that. It's so, so cool. The power of imagination. And this one with the man with his baby out in the park, he's standing on a lily pad. There's bunnies and lilies and daisies, Taj Mahal in the background. Of course, there's got to be rainbows, kites, bubbles, the sun as a god looking down, just really, really cool. Absolutely wonderful. This one is probably one of my favorite because it is about music. And so, this is a musician and he's just imagining all of these different instruments and all of the sound. And, you can see like the sound is like flowing, like in this colors of paint or whatever that is, and it's all dancing around him. I think there's like rockets. Yeah, like there's Saturn and planets up in the sky. It's like just this kind of cosmic connection as he's listening to and dreaming about his music. Yeah, that one's really cool. And then this one is just reminds me of when I would be taking the New York City subway on a daily basis to go to my college and then to work. I worked in Manhattan for a little bit. And I would just take myself out of that 3D experience of being on the New York City subway, fighting the rats to get on the train. And I would just take myself into another world, into another space and time, and just give myself a chance to be someplace else so that I could survive the New York City subway. And it worked, and it also helped me realize that, yeah, you don't need to be doing this for the rest of your life. You need to let yourself get out of the New York City subway. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay to do that. And then I found this quote, which I thought is really cool, from Deepak Chopra, saying the best use of imagination is creativity. The worst use of imagination is anxiety. Yeah, really powerful. Really, really cool. So we're at a time, folks, where, our ability to stay stuck is not going to really, really, really help us at all. It's just not going to help us at all. And the thing about being stuck is that it is really hard for you to imagine not being stuck. It's so easy to stay in a grind and to stay in what you know. It actually feels good. It's much, much more good feeling than it is to take the necessary risk to go beyond what it is that you know, what it is that you are stuck in. And so you have to choose to believe that you can go beyond that stuckness. You can move out of these old paradigms, these old practices. For example, maybe debt is a place you're stuck in. Maybe a relationship where there's no passion is where you're stuck in. Maybe a job that isn't fulfilling where you're invalidated, you're overlooked, you're not included, you're not treated like a leader. Whatever the circumstance is, you can choose to believe that you don't have to live that for the rest of your life, and use your imagination to, okay, if I could wave a magic wand and be out of this, what would I be in? Really start thinking about that, because the way the universe really works, and the quantum physicists talk about this, is that when we give our attention in our thoughts to what it is that we would like to be experiencing, the universe goes to work to make that happen. It really does. And, it's not like putting a nickel in a slot and you're going to get the soda or the gum come right out. It's going to be a process, because think about this. What you are now cannot be what you will become to be unstuck. Yeah. So that means that you've got to go through some things in order to be able to live unstuck, to live in what it is that you imagine that you want. A job where people are respectful and appreciate you and value you. A relationship where it is interdependent and the passion is overflowing. Like, you wake up in the morning, you can't wait for your partner to be awake beside you. That you're just so excited, Also, in terms of debt, instead of believing that you can't ever get out of it, no. It's about managing it. I was told by somebody who's extremely wealthy that, oh yeah, wealthy people have debt. It's just that they know how to manage it. So opening up to that, like, wow, what if I could manage my debt? What if I could be unafraid when the beginning or the middle or the end of the month comes around, because I know how to manage my debt and I'm going to be okay. Wow. Imagine that. Yeah. So I can't tell you enough the importance of using your imagination and believing. And I'm going to give you a personal story, because this has come up for me in terms of possible residence in my future. And as usual, it's not totally clear how this could all work out. But a dear friend of mine helped me remember the times when I've been in a similar situation and how things did work out. And the first part of the situation was after being on the road for 6.5 years, living with friends or visiting family, sometimes strangers, and never going hungry, always having a place to sleep, never without my car, but I finally had the opportunity to come off the road. It was time. And I took an apartment that I knew I only had about 6 months worth of rent to cover. I didn't know where the other money was going to come from. And then after about 2 months, and now I know I have only 4 months left, I had to get some knee surgery. And I was blessed that the car accident that I was in, where I hit my knee, my friend's auto insurance could cover it. So I could get this knee surgery, and I needed it. It was a torn meniscus. So I was starting to limp around. And so I knew then that I was going to be incapacitated for at least a month. And oh my God, what, that I can't get work. I can't do work. What is this, And I'm sweating bullets, and in the meantime, I was watching Mr. Rogers, and it calmed me down, because he's so calming. I didn't know at the time what I was doing was also learning some really important techniques in trauma resolution. But then what happens is I go for my checkup in the beginning of January, I was good, but the very next day I get shingles. Oh my God. Because I just worried myself so much over that month and my immune system was totally off. So I get these shingles. And let me tell you, you never want shingles as an adult. It's like chicken pox or whatever, but you never want it because the nerve pain was excruciating. And I remember laying in bed in that pain and saying, okay, I know this is because I was worrying. Help me not to worry. Help me let go of thinking I can figure this out. So after the shingles calmed down and I'm better, that's what I began to practice. I began not to try to figure it out. I was just like, if I'm supposed to be here, I'll be here. If I have to get back on the road, I'll get back on the road. And of course, what happens is that everything does work out. And in fact, that was the opening to me being able to create the Wisdom Walk to Self-Mastery program in Milwaukee at the Alma Center. And because I've been watching Mr. Rogers, I felt very confident about how it is that I wanted to set it up. Yeah. And so again, everything was okay. And then about 2 years later, the apartment below the one that I was using opened up. And I had been wanting to have some more space because I wanted to do my Ensoroma home. And again, I had no idea how I could be able to afford not one, but 2 apartments, 2 electric bills, right? 2 water bills, right? I had no idea. But by now, I'm starting to believe. And it just so happened that my landlady and I went to a movie. The movie was Inception, and Inception is so powerful. And we talked, and she said, you know what? I'm willing to take a leap of faith. And I said, I'm willing to too. Because what did I have to lose? If I couldn't afford it, I'd know quickly, and that would be that. But in taking that leap of faith within the month, I got more income coming in a very unexpected way, in a good way. And so then I had the 2 apartments, that I managed until it was time to leave. And when it's time to leave, it's just time to leave. But I share that with you to say that that's the kind of time and the energy I'm feeling that we are going through right now, where you are being called to take a leap of faith, to believe that what it is, and Carmen says, imagine that, yes, what it is that you are desiring, what it is you're ready to move away from, what it is that your heart is desiring, what is calling you, take that leap of faith, believe, imagine, give yourself permission to fall, just like me tonight with this broadcast. I could have just said, I'm not going to do it because, it's not working. No, I was like, okay, do the best we can. Let's see what happens, right? And Carmen says, you were blessed with double for your troubles. Love it. Absolutely. So all of that, again, my dears, my darlings, to say, please, please don't keep yourself stuck in the old paradigms, in the old belief systems. We are really in a new day, a new earth, a new age. And it's time for you to be a self-master and to be in full responsibility for everything that you are experiencing and how you're experiencing it. This is the time to choose the love over the fear. So take those chances, comment, let me know what happens. I'll be back talking about this in another week. We'll continue this unscripted conversation about believe. No more excuses. No more excuses. So let me share my quote from my sweet Miss Sarah, who said, be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Absolutely. Another great ancestor I am blessed with. Yes, yes. And if I didn't say this, I was, of course, calling on my ancestors for through all of that, lighting candles, lighting sage, feeding them, giving them some of my meal. Yeah, and because that just kind of calls up that energy of belief and faith, like help me, help me, help me. So that's the other piece in it. Yeah. Well, and again, I will definitely talk more about that when I come back. So there you have it. My first unscripted of this part of the year. If things go as I think they will, I'll be doing that until the end of the year as I talk through all of the 5 collective commitments for you. Closing out tonight, as always, I want to thank my wonderful engineer, Miss Yvette Parker, who hung in there, got me connected back to the podcast. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Absolutely. Yeah, She's Moose says, sounds like sacred playtime. I love it. Yeah, we're going to do some sacred playtime. And Yvette, I can't thank you enough for, again, you and the entire Black Hole Be Well family for continuing to provide platform to make sure I'm connected so that I can spread my words, I can spread my wisdom around. Of course, I'm shouting out to all of my regular listeners and viewers out there, all of you who have wisdom walked with me, are wisdom walking with me, and you know who you are. To my family, especially to my cousins, losing their mom. It's a really, really painful, powerful thing. And I'm sending out lots of love to them. And to her only grandchild, her only granddaughter, Destiny, sending you lots of love and light to my dear. And to all of my family on both coasts in the middle of the country, to my spiritual kin everywhere, my transformational leadership colleagues, my medicine brothers and sisters around the world, and those who may be listening or watching for the first time. I want to say thank you. Big thank you, because without your willingness to listen and watch, I couldn't be here. And I don't promote subscribing to my channel because I just think if it's for you, you'll do it. If not, you won't. And that's fine. Because I'm not here to play YouTube's game. I'm here to spread the word and spread the message. And I trust that that will happen in as organic and natural a way as it needs to. So I don't need to plug that all the time. Also, just a reminder that I will have up on my YouTube this week the elemental wisdom for the month of August. Again, we're in this nature month. Tomorrow will be an earth week that we move into. It's all about receiving support. I think that's so beautiful. I also will have my astrology for self-mastery. Like today is a really auspicious new moon in Leo. And then, like I talked about, tomorrow becomes the Mercury going retrograde. And then there's some really, really powerful Jupiter and Saturn conjunction or squaring. I think they're squaring this time, that I will break down for you because that's going to be really impactful. The last time that happened was with 2020. So we got something going here. And yeah, and I was informed by a person who had never gotten COVID. She and her partner just got it. And that was in Milwaukee. So yeah, COVID ain't gone, y'all. COVID ain't gone. It still wants to live. This podcast and this will be repeated, not the podcast, the live stream won't be, but you can always get the live stream on YouTube. Podcast will be repeated next Sunday, August 11th. My next live multicast, broadcast and live stream will be on Sunday, August the 18th at 5 p.m. and 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. I got through it. Now, of course, I'm going to plug my book, Wisdom Walk to Self-Mastery, Ancient Wisdom for Transforming Pain. There we go. And still available at Amazon, Kindle, Walmart, and wherever online booksellers are. Abe's Books even has it. Also want to plug the Innerground Railroad, a 40-day journey to remembering soul and spirit by my dear friend, Queen Quanita Roberson, and her dear friend, and who's also become a colleague to me, Amy Howton. and also available in the same manner. And of course, I want to plug Queen Reverend AdaRa's Heart for Healing service. It'll be this Wednesday because she does it the first and third Wednesdays of every month, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, absolutely free. And you can get the Zoom link by going to our website, spiritismylife.com, and you click on events. Yeah. And I have to show this. She Muses says, I love this book. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know exactly which one, but either one, it doesn't matter. Love them all. It's all about the medicine wheel. And so, my dears, last but not least, I want to thank my God, my ancestors, my spirit guides, loving entities, everything that walks with me, keeps my head to the sky, my feet to the ground, and my heart open to do this important work with and for all of you. And thank goodness that Aunt Marion is on her way to the land of the ancestors, because I will definitely be calling on her a lot. She's just amazing. Also, have a healthy and safe Earth Week, receiving support because you are worthy. Continue to wear your mask as required and needed. Like when I'm on the airplane later this month, I will definitely have my mask on. Strengthen your immune system. That's really important by getting rest, eating nutritiously, not worrying. You don't want to get shingles, so don't be worrying. Practice safe relating, wash those hands frequently, avoid perceived safety, and practice and embrace the science safety. And most importantly, my darlings, most importantly, please, please remember that you are not disposable. Why? Because you are divine. Thank you for listening. Talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.